Oh my goodness, throwback if there ever was one. Okay, so if you knew me in the 90s, I wanted to be Aaliyah, and so all I wore were carpenter jeans, baseball t-shirts, and puka shells. I don't think Aaliyah wore puka shells, but that's what we wore. I did have the little tattoo necklaces, but I think I wore puka shells more than tattoo necklaces. But I just got this the ribbon from my Play by Sephora subscription service, so I just put it on because I felt like it needed to have the 90s vibe. I actually had a blue vest just like this growing up. There was one Christmas when all of my cousins and I got different colors of these ones. We legitimately wore them to the mall the next day, all like 12 of us. And but I bought this from Old Navy because it reminded me of that vest. Let's see, what else do I remember from the 90s? Corn dogs. I probably ate corn dogs every single day after school. Pizza bites, bologna sandwiches, Mary-Kate and Ashley, Sailor Moon, Boy Meets World, Snick, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Ghost Riders. Who remembers that show? I wore a pen around my neck and I brought a notebook around because I thought I was gonna solve things. I don't know, I really did love growing up in the 90s. I mean, everything around them seemed so simple. We played outside. I had grass stains on my jeans. As a teacher for young children, I feel like anybody growing up now is missing out because everything is so technology based. Today, I got the idea from my last video. I did a Bitmoji makeup look. I will link that down below. But I had featured a bunch of my favorite like fall lipsticks, and a lot of them reminded me of the lipsticks that I first started to wear when I started wearing makeup. A lot of the colors that I wore were reds and browns because the first lipstick I ever got was Revlon Raisin Rage, and it was my mom's, and she gave me like the last little nubbin of her lipstick, and I was obsessed. Like, I wore that every single day. I didn't wear any other makeup but that one lipstick, and so I used to just put it on. And when I was growing up, I didn't really wear a lot of makeup. At most, I wore like eyeliner all around my rims, smudged out on the top lash line, mascara, and that was it. So this is gonna be so easy, so simple. I think if you're young, growing up, you shouldn't be wearing hella makeup anyways, so I'm gonna show you exactly what I would wear to school. So if you are interested in watching this super simple back to school makeup slash 90s lip color swatch video, then please keep on watching. Thank you. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Okay, so the things that I think will help for if you're growing up and you're just learning about makeup and stuff, there are a few things that I wish I told myself back in the day. So the thing that I wish I told myself growing up and saved myself a lot of grief is put on some moisturizer. I think I broke out more when I was a teenager because I thought since I was an oily girl that I shouldn't moisturize because it just made things worse, but actually I was doing myself a disservice because my skin was so dry that it made more oil. I don't have it right now, but I will probably put a little picture of Dr. Lin hydrating gel. That's a really good one if you're an oily person. One that I'm using right now is Nature Republic. This is 92% aloe gel. This is awesome, especially if you're someone who breaks out. It leaves a lightweight moisturizer on your face without being too greasy. The other thing that I wish I knew about when I was growing up were blotting sheets. This is something that would have saved my life. The first set of blotting sheets that I used in 8th grade were these Neutrogena ones, and they had like salicylic acid in the papers. So this is the Dynoplatz one. You can get at Sephora. You don't need to buy this expensive one. They have tons of affordable ones, like Elf makes some, Daiso makes some. Just get paper. You could even go to the bathroom and get the toilet seat covers and blot your face. Trick. When I was growing up, I didn't wear primer. I pretty much put everything on my bare skin, which probably didn't help with the acne. But today is a more modern version of what I would have done back in the day. I'm gonna make this an affordable look. If you're someone who does have acne, I would use the Elf Blemish Control Primer, and I am going to put that on my face. And I'm just pressing that into the skin. Now I've already moisturized. I don't rub this into the skin because it balls up. The other thing that I would do is the Elf Poreless Primer. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in my more porous areas So that's around my cheeks and my nose. If you're someone who is just starting out in makeup and you're relatively young, I don't really recommend that you wear a full face of foundation, especially if like what you see on YouTube, all these girls are applying a ton of stuff to their face. You are exposing yourself to a lot of chemicals that maybe you wouldn't be exposed to until a much later time in your life. So it's up to you. So this is like what I literally wore when I was growing up. And actually it was like towards the later years in my life, like I was already 19, 20 years old when I was doing this kind of makeup. So keep that in mind. Today I'm going to be going in with my Better Skin Concealer in medium. And I'm just going to put that under my eyes and in the places where I get red. So I get red around my cheeks, on my chin, nose, and between my brows. So I'm going to concentrate that right here. Tip of my nose usually gets red. Right in there. My cheeks, oh, my cheeks used to get so red in high school. Like, I don't know if I was just nervous all the time. And you know what? We didn't have beauty blenders back then. We had white makeup sponges and nobody told us to wet them. So I used to pat my stuff in with my fingers. So if you're into that, go ahead. But thank goodness for you, you know, millennials, you now get beauty blenders. So I'm just patting that in with my finger. That also helps to look up while you're patting in your concealer. That way you can get it right into those inner crevices. Now obviously if you feel like you need more coverage, go ahead and put them in the places that you want. The other thing, if you do have acne in certain spots, then you can take the concealer and add a little bit more in those places. Like if you had something on your chin, and just pat it in with your finger. And you basically just want to do like an even layer. So that looks good so far. The other thing is, when I was growing up, I noticed that when I did try to hide a zit, it got worse the more I put on. So keep that in mind when you're trying to conceal. You'll never be able to conceal like the bump itself, especially if it's raised, but you can take away the redness. So I don't have any current zits right now, but if you are interested in learning how to cover up acne, then please let me know. I'll try to find a model maybe who can come in and sit in for me so I can do it on their face, but let me know if you're interested in that. So now I'm going to go in with the Better Skin. This is the powder. When I was growing up, I used the Dream Matte powder. And again, that was like when I was already in college. But now I'm just setting everywhere that I put the concealer. And the great thing about this powder is it has some salicylic acid. And it's good for people who do have acne. Now, I don't know if I would use this to set my under eye, but back in the day, I used one powder for everything. There was no baking, in my life at least. So this is good because it's lightweight. You're not putting a ton of stuff on. And it's going to keep you mattified, hopefully, all day. And it's so easy and compact that you can bring this to school and then you can touch up in case that you need to. And again, if you're not someone who wants to congest your skin, then I would suggest bringing those blotting sheets so that you don't add too much powder, but you can take away the oiliness. Now, the reason why I'm going in so many times is because I'm only lightly touching the powder, but I just would suggest building up rather than piling a bunch on. We didn't do contouring back then when you're a teenage kid, but I will do some contouring now because your girl needs a little bit of that. So I'm taking my Contour Effects Kit. This is affordable right now. It's $4.99 on the City Color Cosmetics. And I'm just hitting that right on my cheekbones, jawline, and the top of my forehead. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because I really didn't do it growing up. But it is something that you can do right now just so it puts a little bit of structure to your face and it breaks up that space on your cheeks. So I'm just going to use my bronzer as a blush. I'm going to use my Makeup Revolution. This is a Vivid Highlight, and it is a baked highlighter in the shade Radiant Lights. I'm just going to take that on the tops of my cheekbones. I'm just putting the glow in the places I want instead of grease. So I'm going to use the ColourPop. This is the brow pencil, and it is in the shade Black and Brown. So I think if I started to do brows, I probably would have used a pencil. My battery just died. Sweet. When I was growing up, my brows were really thin because that was the style. That's what people were doing back then, so I was not kind to my brows. It wasn't until I got older that I appreciated them. When you're young, don't pluck your brows. I'm using my e.l.f. Clear Brow Gel. Moving on to eyes. I wish I had told myself, prime your eyelids when you were younger, because probably would have made things a little less greasy. But part of, like, I guess a 90s grungy look is that everything is kind of smudgy anyways. So do you prime, don't prime, do what works for your body. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that powder just to set it. If you're on a drugstore budget, the eyeliner of choice that I would give you is either Jordana or NYX. So Jordana, they have a ton of them. They're called the 12-hour Made to Last liquid eyeliner, but it's actually in a pencil form. And so I have this one in charcoal, and I have these two. See how tiny they are? I've used them a lot. This one was in, shoot, it's so small I can't even see the color. This is a brown one, and this is a black one. The last one would be a NYX Slide On Glide On. These pencils are awesome. Again, these are super tiny. I think I'm going to use the Jordana one. So Jordana you can get at Walgreens. That's where I get mine. So what I used to do is I used to just line the upper and lower lash line. So I would tight line. Then the other thing you could do is you can like squeeze really hard, and then it transfers to the bottom. Basically, I tried to get no skin space. Now, since I don't have a little smudger thingy on my pencil, I'm taking this Eco Tools brush, and it's dual-sided, so it has this little smudgy part, and then it has a liner part. I'm going to take the liner part, and I'm just going to move that around. Actually, it's better to use the little brushy side. I thought I looked so cool when I did this. And I just built it up, and then I smudged it, and I built it up, and then I smudged it. And there you have it. This is my 90s look. Okay, so I'm going to catch up with the other eye, and I'm going to be right back. How cool do we look now, guys? I think I'm going to have to change the name of this video. Yeah. I don't know if this is going to be back to school makeup. I'm going to take my CoverGirl Supersizer mascara, and I'm going to coat my lashes. I don't even think I curled my eyelashes growing up. I just put it straight on. Let me see, what was my first mascara? I think my first mascara was the L'Oreal Carbon Black. I was really into black, brown, anything. So black, brown eyeliner, black, brown mascaras. My mom said that when you start to like someone, you blush. So she said, like, if you pat your cheeks, you would naturally blush. So I never wore blush, but I used to just get red in the cheeks. And Raisin Rage. And this lipstick, actually, I have a new one. Because like I told you, I had like a little nubbin of the other one. But I've had this for years, so I don't know if it's like expired. Raisin Rage. I don't want to risk it. I'll buy another one. So this is Milani Double Espresso. For my second lip, I'm going to take Jordana's Easy Liner in Coco Loco. I'm going to cover my whole lip. And then I'm going to top it off with my soft matte lip cream in NYX's Dubai. NYX Liquid Lip Suede in Vintage. Do I look teen and angsty? Because that's what I was in the 90s. So for my last one is the OG. This is Revlon Black Cherry. So that is the finished look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. I don't know that I will ever do a lip swatching video ever again. That was so hard. But yes, so I don't know what I'm gonna call this yet. Maybe like 90s grunge, kind of. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! It is too hot for this vest, so I'm gonna take it off real quick.